Hello everyone, you welcome to The Inside on Equinoxe Television. I am Babla Jonathan. In this edition of the program, we're going to look at the recent happenings in the northwest and southwest regions of the Republic of Cameroon hit by socio-political and security crisis for close to 3 years today, and weeks after the national dialogue which brought together political, civil society, religious, traditional and other leaders from across the country and out of the country to discuss a way out of the Anglophone crisis. Killings have continued in the two Anglophone regions of the country. Destruction of properties has continued. Abductions and other atrocities have continued in the northwest and southwest regions of the country. We'll take a look at that. And one of the major outcomes of the national dialogue, that is the special status which the participants agreed that should be given to the northwest and the southwest regions of the country within the context of the decentralization process that is being implemented in Cameroon. We'll take a look at that. We'll talk about the stakes, the content, and the application of that special status and how it's going to help the Anglophones or solve the Anglophone problem. That's it. Meet our guest in some few seconds. Our guest is a human rights and a civil rights defender. He was one of the representatives of the diaspora at the national dialogue which took place in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé. Maitre Alex Ndive, Lisinge, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Babila. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Right, before we talk about the national dialogue and of course one of the major outcomes and how it's going to help to solve this problem, if at all it will do so, because there are many who think that the special status thing is not going to help in any way, but we'll get your opinion on that. Before that, I want us to talk about some recent happenings in the northwest and southwest regions of the country. Killings, destruction of properties, abductions have continued weeks after the major national dialogue. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I'm very disappointed with what is happening. Like, where I should disagree with a lot of some of my friends or agents who are responsible for this. Some people call for making northwest and southwest to be ungovernable. You cannot replace darkness with darkness. So at the moment, we have to look how we can ameliorate the situation in the northwest and southwest rather than take us 50 years backwards. If you want to change something, you should be the light. You shouldn't be darkness. You should not retaliate and say the government of Cameroon is doing A, B, C, I want to do the same thing. You should say I'm better off than you, the government of Cameroon, because people have gone to a stage which they said they have to release prisoners to come and become fighters. And it's very, very sad that we as Anglophones should go and do certain things that will affect us, our people, because what I have in mind to me is the people first, whatever I do. It's not about my ideology, it's about the people who are suffering, the people who are having hardship, because we talk about civil disobedience. When you use guns to ask people not to go to school, not to go to market, that's not civil disobedience. Civil disobedience is voluntary. And again, most of our people, they don't understand that if for those who think they can take up arms against a government, it's against you and the government. The civilians are neutral. According to the UN Convention on War, you have to make sure that the Geneva Convention on War, the civilians are not part of your war. And all along, I've always said, I am not concerned with what happens to the government or the people who are fighting the government. I'm more concerned with the civilians. That's what I'm concerned. They are not part of your war. If you're fighting, you have to give them safe passage. You don't make them to be part of your war, because it's very, very sad that we have gone to this level, because I'm somebody, I've always put Anglophone first. That's Northwest and Southwest. When I used to be in Ngwakele, Yaoundé University, they used to say Biafra, and I would be the first person to stand up and stand for them. I used to respect what we used to call Anglo-Saxon culture. But what I've seen of late, we don't practice it, that Anglo-Saxon culture, because I live in the UK. What I see, people are practicing their indigenous culture from different parts of Cameroon. We don't do it. We don't practice it in Cameroon. You don't hurt your neighbor. You don't hurt your own brother. You don't hurt your own sisters. I presume the Anglo-Saxon culture is like, if you hit this cheek, I turn the other cheek. But we have gone to that level that we hate each other. I look back, Northwest, Southwest, I said, come on, this is a country where I grew up as a boy, where I love it. Our people, the camaraderie, the loveliness, you love your neighbor, where has that gone to? And when I'm talking now, what I have in mind is what happened to Florence Ayafo. It's a disgrace. Even if that woman did whatever, we should not treat our people like that.
It was a gruesome killing, what has been described as a gruesome killing. Somebody killed and her body chopped up into pieces and so on and so forth. And that was interpreted as an indication that the Anglophone crisis has not moved an inch backward, but rather it has been progressing. It has been deepening along the line. That killing.
Yeah, what I saw, I deliberately kept quiet because I was lost for words. I did not know what to say. And it was just yesterday night that I just put something on social media because I asked, what that woman is a woman. We, as Anglophone, we respect women. We respect our mothers, our sisters. And when I see, I'll call them my brothers. I saw what they did. I don't care whether you're a bandit or a criminal or whatsoever. They have heart, they have souls, they have sisters, they have brothers, they have uncles. When I saw what happened, I'm sure we, as Anglophones, as a people of Cameroon, will live to regret that for the rest of our life.
And some accusing fingers have been pointing towards some government officials, have been pointing towards some alleged state-sponsored militia and so on to have committed that act in order to tarnish the image of the separatist fighters or something like that.
Yeah, I will say this quite clearly, and I'm sure I want to make our audience to understand certain things. When we talk about state sponsor, I'm talking generally, including the Western world. A state, a government, we should understand what's a government. Government, they have agents, they have intelligence. I'm saying everywhere in the world, USA, Europe, they can do that. They have intelligence. They can put people, perpetrate people to do certain things. That's what we should know. I keep on seeing people say, Atanganji boys. In UK, you say state intelligence or what? State, they infiltrate whatever group, wherever. How do you get intelligence when you see terrorism in the Western world? They put people, whether it's in the mosque or whatsoever. So, that's not my point. Rather than us apportioning blame on each other, if we want to change a country, let's look how we can change that country for the betterment of all of us. When we have that good cop, bad cop, this man is bad, this is good, that's the problem we have. We, of the alternative rhetoric platform with Padia Sanga, Dr. Lamba, and Dr. Munzu, we appreciate the difference of opinion. But some people, they think we have is one size fits it all. It doesn't work that way. If you are intolerant, why are you fighting for democracy? Why are you insulting the government of Cameroon when you cannot tolerate? That's the problem we are facing in Cameroon. Because today, some people will say, oh, Francophones are bad. I grew up with Francophones in Boya. They are good people. I went to Ngwakele. I have a lot of good Francophone friends. The problem in Cameroon is not about Francophone, Anglophone. It's about a regime. And we should look at it in that way. I don't buy the idea about Anglophone, Francophone. I am not trying to discard our history, that the English part of Cameroon came together with the French part of Cameroon. That's not what I'm saying. I respect that fact. But however, I live in the United Kingdom. The Scottish people, they wanted independence. They were not saying Cameroonians should leave their country. So we should understand that politics is about politics. We don't involve civilians. And we, as an agent, or whether you're a civil society or you're a politician, we should leave civilians out of politics. People have to leave. We cannot say some people like they're fighting, oh, we should wait and do politics after independence. I don't know the future. I don't know if I will be alive tomorrow. So our brothers and sisters in the Northwest and Southwest, they have to leave. They have a life.
Another major atrocity committed recently in the two Anglophone regions of the country is the killing of an ex-separatist fighter who dropped his gun, came back to the normal life train, handed himself and presented himself during a ceremony in Wum in the northwest region of the country. And just that night or the following night, he was killed and his corpse found the next day.
Yeah, I understand that Mr. Fai Yengo Francis, the former governor, is responsible for this disarmament community. I don't know their procedure, but if you want people to disarm, you should make sure that you protect them. Because from what I'm gathering, they say he did not want the government to protect him. That's not an excuse. It is evident and it is clear that if you are an ex-AMPA fighter and you want to go back into the community, it's clear that your life will be in danger. So I'm sure that's part of the failing of the government, and I hope that will not repeat itself, because so far as you have been fighting with these AMPA or whatever AMPA boys, if you want to go back to the society, they have to look for a safe place and put you. I don't even think where you're living or what we call in the West witness protection plan. You have to move. You saw Yanikawa is somewhere where he's safe. I don't like apportioning blame, but I will blame the government on that killing, because what we see pictures when people say they don't want to be AMPA anymore. What do the government do? You put them on social media, parade them. Why are you doing that? You don't need to do that. So the government is wrong with that, and I hope if the government genuinely want to see people to put down their arms, they should not be showing them on social media. They shouldn't be doing that. The government is wrong. That's propaganda. You shouldn't be playing with people's life. And that's somebody's father, that's somebody's brother, that's somebody's husband. The government should not be playing politics with people's life.
However, the head of the Disarmament, Demobilization and Reintegration Committee for the Northwest region said he had nothing to do with that. He was not at the ceremony. He does not know the ex-AMPA fighter who presented himself. In fact, he dissociated himself from all of that stuff to say that the center is not responsible for anything that happened.
The problem is this disarmament committee was created by the government. You cannot disassociate yourself. A government is a government. The government created that disarmament commission. So when they say you are responsible, it's part of their job, because if I'm not mistaken, I saw something on social media. I don't know whether it's a deal, a governor receiving this guy. That's a government, and they are responsible.
Northwest Governor adopted Afrique.
Yeah, I saw a picture.
Gendarme officers and so on greeting him.
Yeah, they cannot disassociate themselves, because if they are saying that they are not responsible, it means the government is dysfunctional, because the disarmament committee, they have to cooperate with the governor. They are together.
And the question many have been asking is, why the government or the gendarme officers who were there, the administrative authorities who were there, why did they decide to yield to what the ex-AMPA fighter is said to have said, that he does not want security, does not want protection, and they decided to accept that and allow him to go back to his home?
That's where we lack when we talk about professionalism. Professionalism is what? In every walks of life, whether you're a journalist, blah, blah, you can have a bodyguard. You might tell your bodyguard that, I don't want this, I don't want protection. It's not up to you. Your bodyguard will say, no. You decide. The bodyguard is a professional person. You don't decide. You don't tell your bodyguard what your bodyguard wants. So whatever that guy might have said, it was up to the government to say no. So the government was wrong in that sense. So at the end of the day, I can tell the government that I don't want the protection. It's up to the government to say, no, you have no choice. Because the danger was imminent.
What could be the impact of this incident on government's efforts to de-radicalize, disarm the separatist fighters, and government's efforts to take them out of the bush and so on?
To me, it's not really about the government, it's about individuals. Because I feel sorry. And if anyone, you call yourself Amber Boys, I'm speaking directly to you. I feel for you. I feel very, very sorry for you. I'm in the diaspora. I know our people who are in the diaspora, they don't care about you. I see your body, your corpse lying in the street every day. It hurts me. The point is, this individual should come out of those bushes. You cannot kill or risk your life for a penny, for 1,000 or 2,000. Your life is very important. And there are so many ways and we can solve this problem. One, there's Cardinal Toomey. You can see Cardinal Toomey. There's another way. You can just leave directly. If you are somewhere in Kumbo or any part Bali or any part in Cameroon, you can leave and transfer and go to Marwa or any part without going directly to the government. But if you want to go directly to the government, it's up to you. But if you know your life is in danger, it doesn't matter. You can look for a way and displace yourself and come to Douala, Yaoundé, Garoua, wherever in Cameroon. You don't need to go through the government, because what the government is doing, I'm not saying they're wrong, but they are enticing people. They're making you think you should have a better life. Oh, if you come here, we'll give you this, we'll show you and parade you in the national dialogue. They don't need to do that. You don't need to do that, because when you keep on showing these people in the public, you're putting their life in danger. That's what the government is doing.
But some of them who may be listening to you now will be asking the question, what if I drop my gun, I'm not protected, and then I'm killed like the other person?
I'm giving them option. I trust Cardinal Toomey. I'm not saying I trust him. If you want, go and see Cardinal Toomey in private. I'm giving three choices. There's the government. If you don't trust the government, fine. I'm not a fan of the government scheme, because when you meet the government, what do? They parade you, they show you over social media, the television, and I'm not a fan of that. I would prefer either you go and see Cardinal Toomey where you're anonymous, or as an individual. When we're in UK, we saw a guy, I'm sure, he ran away from somewhere in the northwest region and he found himself somewhere in the north of Cameroon, and which was good. That was a young boy, a teenager. That was good. He saved his life. So there are three options. Either you do it as an individual. If you find yourself in Douala, you ask for any person, somebody will give you a helping hand. There are people out there. Or you go to Cardinal Toomey. But until the government should stop parading people as a propaganda, I am not in favor of the government scheme of disarmament. Don't show these guys in public. Their life matters.
In the opening address of the Prime Minister at the major national dialogue, Chief Dr. Joseph John Gutte said, you participants have to look for concrete and pragmatic solutions to the Anglophone crisis. 2 weeks after the major national dialogue, killings, destruction of properties, abduction, and other atrocities have continued, and some have interpreted this as a failure. The national dialogue was a failure to some. Looking at what is happening now, it did not produce the expected results. Looking at what is happening now, according to some politicians, civil society leaders, and so on. What do you think about what is happening today and the national dialogue? Was it a failure? Did it succeed?
It depends on what was the objective of the national dialogue. I did not expect us to have a solution in 1 week, in 2 weeks, in 1 month. It depends on what was the objective. However, I would like to touch on this point about what is happening, the killings and kidnapping. I will associate that more to banditism. When you go and break prison, when people ask for ransom, they are not freedom fighters. They are not fighting to save the people of Northwest and Southwest. It's up to the government to distinguish between banditism and freedom fighters. I will tell you, 95% of the people who call themselves Amber Boys, they are criminals. They are not fighting for the betterment of the people of Northwest and Southwest. As a young boy.
Are you referring to those who are being put under the category of state-sponsored militia?
To me, I don't know whether there is any evidence or what. I made a very important point, Babila. All governments, Western world or Africa or whatsoever, they have a right to infiltrate organization. That's why when you hear in the Western world, they say intelligence, state intelligence, they have a right to do that. That's some of the things we make mistake. Atanga G-boy. A government have a right to do that. A government is a government. I'm not endorsing what the government do. I'm saying it academically. All governments, they do that. Whether it's agent provocateur, they put people, infiltrate people in the mosque, infiltrate people in terrorist organization. All governments, they do that. It's about what? A genuine government. Why do they do that? It's for the security of the people. That's why they do that. I don't understand how it works in Cameroon. But however, our people should understand certain things. To me, you say you want to free Northwest and Southwest. Why are you killing Anglophones? You're killing your own brothers and sisters. How do you achieve freedom by killing your own brothers and sisters? That's my point I'm making. They are not fighting to free our people.
The killings are on both sides, according to facts and figures from non-governmental organizations, international organizations. The killings are coming from both sides, and some are indicating that the killings on the side of the separatist fighters are provoked by killings on the side of the military. So,
Babila, when we talk about both sides, I don't buy that notion about both sides. There's a government in Cameroon. It doesn't mean I'm supporting them. There is a government. There is no both sides. And we shouldn't be playing games when we sit and talk here. Because when you look at geopolitics, the people who are causing the problem in Cameroon, it's not even the government of Cameroon, it's not even the Amber Boys, it's the Americans, it's the Europeans. The Prime Minister, former Prime Minister of Britain, Theresa May, he came here, he signed a contract. Why they are killing people in Northwest and Southwest? 1 billion, is it a gas deal? An American came here about 3 months ago, signed a deal of mining, is it $400 million. Those are the people causing trouble in Cameroon. And I'm speaking, appealing to all Cameroonians, Northwest, Southwest, we should not be fools. We have our problem in Cameroon, but we are Africans, we are black people. We should solve our problem. We should not rely on these people. Central African Republic, which is our neighbor, they have been fighting since independence. Why? What is happening? France, they are still taking the uranium. When there's confusion in the country, that's when the West, they profit from us. I look at the problem in Cameroon that we should solve it. Mediator. We always want the Europeans or Americans to be mediators. Who are the people who colonize us? The West. Who are the people who are promoting apartheid? The West. Who are the people who enslave us? The West. So why should I go and ask somebody? I prefer to speak to an African, Paul Biya, than to be talking to these people. I live there. I live there. Most European countries, in the European Union, there are 28 countries. They don't have what Cameroon have. Switzerland, they live on chocolate and watches. Why are we suffering here? So it's up to us. I would prefer to talk to an African brother than to talk to a Western person. I don't hate them. I live there. I envy their culture. But we as Africans, we should be the new generation that we can speak among ourselves. We don't need somebody, a Muzungu, a white man, to be in between to solve a problem between Babila and Alex. It doesn't work that way.
Those who are thinking that we need people or some people to come from outside back their stand by saying that amongst ourselves there is no trust. We don't trust ourselves anymore. There is nobody who can stand and speak and the others listen. There's nobody who can be trusted to be a mediator or things like that.
Do you know something? Some of my friends always call me, I'm a one-man soldier. Do you think if I want to talk to Paul Biya, I need somebody to be a mediator? I know the presidency, I know the address, I know who to write to. They will better turn it down. I would prefer, let me try. All the people who say they don't trust the government, have any of them ever written a letter to the presidency? Can they show me that they have said maybe the presidency turn it down? No. I've met a lot of people in Cameroon. Some people I've never seen physically. I've met them and they're very engaging. You talk with people, don't assume. I met Chiroma. He's a very, when I mean in terms of engagement, he's a nice person. He said I should come and meet him. I don't care about your political opinion. I love people who engage, who debate. We have been on the alternative rhetoric platform for close to 3 years now. Paddy Asanga, Dr. Lamba. We have asked these people, the Ambazonia and the diaspora, I call them hijackers because most of them, they used to work in the government. They were never part of the Southern Cameroon National Council or Youth League when I was a boy. We used to fight for it. I don't call them, they are opportunists. We have asked them, come and have a debate with us for 3 years. They cannot come and tell us what's your project. How do you want to achieve this independence? They are unable to do that. If you cannot debate with me, somebody who have been championing the Anglophone cause, who do you want to talk to? Do you want to talk with Biya? You should first talk with me, talk with Paddy Asanga, talk with Dr. Lamba before you talk with the government of Cameroon. I am saying this deliberately. I'm challenging them. Let them come and talk and be cramming resolution whatsoever, marriage not be forced. Let's debate among ourselves as Northwest and Southwest. Babila, I don't know you if you have ever experienced this. We cannot speak as Northwest and Southwest, but we want to speak with our Francophone counterparts. We cannot speak Northwest and Southwest. We have never sat down and talked, with the exception of the early 90s. If you talk that Northwest and Southwest, let's come together and talk. We are afraid. We just assume that we are one. We are one. Democracy is about differences. I believe in unity in diversity. I don't believe in unity in uniformity. We are different. Our difference doesn't make us to feel that there's antagonism among us. Our difference unite us. I remember when I was in primary school, Boya Station, we used to appreciate our differences. We used to celebrate our cultural differences. But today, we look at it as if it's something that divides us. Our identity is our culture, my tribe. An Englishman is an Englishman. A Scottish man is a Scottish man. Cameroonian should be proud to say that I'm from this tribe. There's nothing wrong to say I'm from Banso. There's nothing wrong to say I'm a Bakweri. But we have made it as if, oh, you're not, I'm not. We have taken this failed Western culture and think that Anglophone, Francophone, we can use another name. Yes, we came together and created this country which is called the Republic of Cameroon today. I acknowledge our history, but we cannot live all on history. Today, I'm here, Babila, you're here. How do we want to change this country? Do we want it to remain one and indivisible? Do we want federalism? Do some people want to live? It is legitimate to talk about these things. Politics is about ideology, and even the Constitution of Cameroon. Don't mind, a lot of people come and say, don't talk about separation. The Constitution of Cameroon permits it. Freedom of association, which means I can create an association, I can create a political party, and the motive of my party is to separate from this country. It's not against the Constitution. It's an ideology. So people keep on saying that secession is against, it's not. Once, as they talk about freedom of association, you can form any association. It's an ideology. I put it to the people, vote for me, this is what I want. If they vote for me, that's what I will do. So,
but those who are saying that secession is against the constitution is because the constitution says Cameroon is united and not divided. So if you're coming to divide, what the constitution says is united, you're against the constitution.
No, you are not against the constitution in the sense that I'm saying the constitution is not for the dead, it's for the living. So the constitution of today, in 1 year's time, in 10 years' time, might not be the constitution. People change it. It's not for dead people, it's for living people. You do the constitution to fit the motive or the objective of the people who are living at the time. But what I'm saying, it's quite clear. You're entitled to create a political party. And you're entitled, when you're campaigning, you say, my manifesto is that I want to separate this country. You have to put it there. It's not against the law. It's not against the constitution. You're telling the people, vote for me. And if the people see what you want and they vote for you, they have given you the mandate. I am entitled to say, vote for me. I will change the constitution of Cameroon. I will make the constitution of Cameroon to be ABC. It's not against. It's politics.
Of course, even in international legal instruments, there are rights like those that you just cited, the right to association, the right to expression, the right to belonging, the right for an individual to decide, I want to belong here, I want to be here, and so on. We'll take a look at what the newspapers reported this week.
The Post-Weekender questions what Anglophones want in the special status that emerged in the major national dialogue. The Sun, Prime Minister John Gutte under attack. The Watchdog reveals when John Gutte failed in the major national dialogue. The Guardian Post questions if PM John Gutte declared war against Northwesterners. The Voice, cheating Anglophones cleverly. The Advocate, major national dialogue far from finish. US wants fresh international inclusive dialogue to end atrocities. More calls for the release of detained Anglophone leaders and Muslim scholar Abdul Karim Ali. The Median, renewed violence in the Northwest and Southwest. USA calls for fresh open-ended dialogue. The Info reports that anti-Sardina Brigade attempt to disrupt President Paul Biya's stay in Lyon, France backfires. The Horizon, born-again Biya returns home in triumph. The Star, after the major national dialogue, will President Paul Biya amend the constitutions to pave the way for discussions as parliamentary session opens next month?
That was the press review, and we are still with our guest, Maitre Alex Ndive Lisinge, human and civil rights defender from the diaspora. Maitre, you, Padi Asanga, and other persons, you've been really interested and working on de-radicalizing the separatist fighters and bringing them out of the bushes. How far have you gone?
Yeah, I will just speak in general terms because, as I say, these things are very sensitive. It's not something that you talk about individuals in public for their own safety. But we understand that most of these young people, I will start by, the government have failed to provide employment to our young people. And some of them, they are joining these Amber Boys not because they love to be there, because they have been unemployed. And the problem is most of these guys, they are caught between the diaspora, Ambazonians, and people like ourselves, Padilla, Sanga, Dr. Lamba, and other people. Our motto is give these people books, not guns. And we talk to them, they call us. But sometimes you're not sure. Like recently, I saw something on social media. They were saying that Padilla Sanga and Eli Smith, they were trying to bribe the Amber, but they are not trying to bribe them. We don't want to see our young people being killed. We know that they are our brothers. Some people, they don't care. They can sit on social media, they can talk. We talk to these people. It's not about bribe. Sometimes we sit and we will come one day and try to praise, oh, Paddy Asanga was doing the right job maybe in 20 years' time. We want to see that at the end of the day, these guys are risking their life. We want them alive because most people in Douala, I was there in Bonaberi, they have asked a lot of people have moved Anglophones. And you say you're fighting La Republique. Why are our people coming to the French part of Cameroon if those we are fighting La Republique? So we talk to them, we engage with them, and we do our best. And the difference is that we don't have the capacity of doing GoFundMe or whatsoever. We don't have any help from the government. We do our own little bits and whatsoever among ourselves. And that's why we appreciate it a lot, because a lot of people try to sabotage anything that people are doing. And they call people named blacklegs, or whatsoever, but that's not a problem to us. Because I was so disappointed when some people in the social media, they were talking about Daily Smith and Paddy Asanga because we're trying to bring some of these Amber boys to attend the dialogue. It's clear, our positions are clear. We are not in that position that we want to fight the government. We want peace, and we can change Cameroon without using arms. That's our position. So some people believe they can use weapons to challenge the government. That's their position. And as we said, freedom of association is sacrosanct. We have our own position. I cannot be a blackleg if I'm not in your association. So I can use the same word and say, Ambazonia, they are blacklegs, because the pain that we have received, I don't need to call a name. There's a guy who used to support Ambazonia a lot, and his brother was killed. He went silent. I know a lot of them. Because what? If you're an Ambazonian and they kill your own brother, who killed your brother? You. I know a lot of them. They have gone silent because people talk when it doesn't touch your family. You can shout and talk about our freedom. Once as it touch your mother, your father, your brother, your wife, they change. We are all human beings. We know there's a problem in Cameroon. We can solve that problem without killing each other. That's my position.
All right, let's talk about one of the major outcomes of the national dialogue, the spatial status, which you people, when I'm talking about, when I say you, I'm talking about the participants at the major national dialogue, agreed on that spatial status, even though there were still many who were dissatisfied and disappointed with the whole thing of spatial status because they wanted federalism, they wanted one thing or the other, but rather it's spatial status that was included in the final statement, in the final recommendations of the major national dialogue. What's it, the spatial status, what's it all about?
Babila, I want to start by telling you, how can you criticize, not you? A lot of people in the social media, how can you criticize something without knowing what it is? A lot of people have been criticizing, you went for federalism, they give you spatial status. They don't even know what a spatial status is. But at the end of the day, before I talk more about the spatial status, I want to tell you that we came here, we did not come for federalism or independence or what. There is a government. The government set the agenda. We came to scrutinize the agenda of the government. That's why we were here. We had 8 commissions, and those commissions, they had decentralization commission. There was no federalism commission. There was no independent commission. There was nothing like, let's discuss about the form of the state. It was decentralization. So we came to scrutinize. And what happened? The chairman of the decentralization commission made it clear that he has got a mandate to talk only about certain things about decentralization. That's when I wake up. I say, I cannot stay in this commission because I've wasted my time to come here, and there was a verbal violence inside that hall. And that's how the spatial status came in. The presidency was not willing to grant that spatial status. So people should not think that it was a cup of tea. The presidency, at the closing ceremony, we were supposed to start at 11. We started about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Do you know why? They were still fighting that you went out of your mandate. We did not recommend you to give a special status. And we were ready, I'm just leaking now, this is a secret. We were ready to cause a trouble at the closing ceremony. Fortunately enough, they maintained it. And what is a special status? I would like to take you to Kashmir in India. They had what? Special status, which was taken away not too long ago. What was a special status? They had their own constitution. They have their flag. They have their own fundamental law. They were autonomous. It was like an independent state inside India. So people are criticizing something that they don't even know. They had their flag. They had their own laws. People from India, they were not allowed to come inside there and buy land or whatsoever. So I'm just giving you some times. Look at us right now. What is happening in Northwest and Southwest? We say we have been assimilated. Imagine us having our own constitution. Imagine us having our own flag inside this country. Imagine us having our own fundamental laws and electing our own representative. Is it not better off than what we have now? So people just criticize because they are enemies of progress. Either we have that attitude. I'm sorry to say that. I'm 100% Anglophone. We Anglophones, we are more dangerous to ourselves. It's either I should be the one on the table or nothing should happen. Because I'm calling off most of my friends and viewers and what, go and read about the special status in Kashmir. It was a country inside India. So you're complaining about something you don't know what is special status. A special status.
But the complaints and the disappointments based on the argument that the special status in the same decentralization is not going to change anything.
The point is,
this is what those who are against the special status are saying.
You have to be clear with me, because when they say a special status in decentralization, I will tell you, United Kingdom is decentralized. The Scottish people, they have their parliament, they have their first minister. In other words, it's a prime minister. Inside is decentralization. They make their laws, they raise their tax. So it doesn't matter whether there's decentralization. The problem is there's a special status. Special status might mean you do your own thing. It's a country within a country. It could be like that. But however, the important point that I will make now, that I want everyone to know, nobody will give you that special status. We have to determine it. And I'm just saying there's already a special status on the table. And I'm calling on my brothers in the Northwest and Southwest. I don't want people to sit quietly. And when a friend or an enemy from Northwest come and say, all Anglophone conference, you start complaining. We should start talking out to ourselves, Northwest and Southwest. We should meet, whether it's a conference, it's a Njangi or a conclave, we should start be talking how we want that special status to look like. So call it a conference, Njangi, conclave, it's not important. I don't care about the name, because I understand my brothers from Southwest region. When somebody comes up from Northwest and says we should have all Anglophone conference, they will be complaining. But what are you doing? I want to see somebody from Southwest to come and say we need all Anglophone conference, because there is a special status. That status is for Northwest and Southwest. We cannot keep quiet, especially the people from Southwest region. They are not proactive. And when our brothers from Northwest region, they come and talk about conference, we start complaining. Be active. And if you're not active, don't complain. Because we need more people to be talking from Southwest region. You don't talk, and if you don't talk, don't complain. There's going to be an all Anglophone general conference to talk about special status.
More people talking, more people being vocal on this issue, like the eldest member of Cameroon's Upper House of Parliament, Senator Von V.E. Mukete. Are those the kind of people you're talking about?
No, to be honest, I will tell you, without being mean, but I would say what Western people, they say. Unfortunately, Von Mukete should not be talking for us, because when a lot of people voted for Brexit to leave European Union, they were very, very old people. And the young generation were complaining that you cannot determine our life. You are very old and you're determining the life of the younger generation. So people like Von Mukete, with all due respect, they shouldn't be speaking for us. They have lived their
But they aren't
life.
working for themselves. They're not talking for themselves. They're talking for the children, the grandchildren, the great-grandchildren that they're leaving behind.
Babylon, the people who are running Cameroon today, they used to run Cameroon. They were in their late 20s, 30s, the Paul Biya, the young Philemon, all of them. So we don't expect, even at the age of 50, you're too old to be talking for us. Paul Biya was just 32 years old when he was prime minister. So we expect young people to speak for themselves. We don't expect a person from Mukete should be about 100 years old. They shouldn't be talking for us anymore. It's a shame that they cannot hand over power to a younger generation. Do even the ruling party, the CPDM government, do they not have young people? These people, I don't understand. It's a disgrace. Because I'm talking, not me and you. I'm not a member of the CPDM. Can they not hand over to the younger generation of CPDM? They don't do that. You stay there, you look at them. I saw a lot of them at the dialogue. It was like zombie. They wake up from their graves. What are they doing there? We need younger people. It's a country, Babylon. This is Douala. I was in a car. I've gone around Douala. It's the economic capital. You look at the roads. These people they don't have any clue of how to run a country. They have passed their sell-out date. And at the end of the day, they should leave the younger generation. I don't want to see somebody who is above 75 talking on my behalf. Well, if you were elected in a free and fair election, I don't mind. You can be 1 million years, but we know what's happening in Cameroon. They should leave the younger generation. Let's forget, we know the ruling party is CPDM. They should hand it, the power to younger generation.
All right, on the special status, you cited the example of
Kashmir in India.
Kashmir in India. Mm-hmm. Now, the Social Democratic Front thinks that the best example that is speaking to Cameroon, that is speaking to the case of the northwest and southwest regions of the country, is Quebec in Canada. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I have no problem with that, but my problem I have with SDF, when they talk, they should watch out. They shouldn't speak as if they are speaking for Anglophones. They should always say, this is SDF position. They have a right as a political party to put their proposition. But when SDF, they speak as if they are speaking for Anglophone, that's the danger. A lot of people don't like it, including myself. Right. But they have a right to say SDF position is the Quebec style. Other people, I don't know, other people have political parties in Cameroon, civil society. They have a right to say, we prefer this. It's their right to say.
The Quebec example, Quebec, which is a country in a nation called Canada, that example, can it be applied in Cameroon? If it is applied in Cameroon, is it going to solve the problem? Is it going to be profitable for the people of those two regions?
I personally appreciate the Quebec system, and I presume it works 100% in Cameroon. Why? We, in Cameroon, we keep on making mistake and thinking that bilingualism is about talking French and English. That's not the point. I went to Ngwakele. I studied public law. 99% was French. What we mean, we need the two systems in Northwest and Southwest. We should have the English system, because in Cameroon we know officially French and English are, when they say official language, it's not about the language, it's about implementing everything. If there is an enam in French, there should be an enam, maybe in Boya or Bamenda, not in Yaoundé. If there is
in law school,
yes, all those things, that's how it shouldn't be that, we have put a section. No, we have to operate the two systems separately, but it doesn't mean that the French people, any person who is from the French part of Cameroon can come to the English part and open a French school. That's your business. But the main system should be English and French. The other one should be operating in the other 8 regions and the other one in the 2 regions. But if I love to go to Garoua and I want to operate the English system, school or legal system, I can do it there. But we should draw the map. We have what we call, Bilingualism Commission. It's not about speaking a language. It's about us being able to operate the French and English system in equal standard. So we are making mistake about speaking a language and operating.
In the light of what you're saying now, that means there should be a parliament in the two Anglophone regions. There should be, for example, the SDF talked about the House of Chiefs that should be restored. There should be an administration. There should be a prime minister. There should be a president. Is that?
It's up to us. We call it, it's already existing in the Constitution of Cameroon, freedom of association. There is nothing wrong to say the members of parliament from Northwest and Southwest, they want to meet and discuss about problem in Northwest and Southwest. We must not always meet as MPs from Cameroon. They can say the MPs of Fako or Mani wants to meet. It's freedom of association. So it's already existing. It's that people should speak. Politics is about representation. You represent your own local people. So if I want to talk about problem in Manu, I don't need to bring people from Marwa. Just like the national dialogue. In my invitation, it was written there that national dialogue to talk about the problem in Northwest and Southwest. Do you need a national dialogue about that? No. They should have just solved the problem without bringing everyone together.
All right. In your own opinion, what should be the content of the special status that has been or that is expected to be given to the Northwest and Southwest regions?
The problem should be equality. We should go back to the 1961 Constitution, French, English, equal, then we can ameliorate it. We can put certain things, impetus into it, because that's how we came together. We should treat ourselves as equals. That's how we came together. 300 years today, the Act of Union between Scotland and England, they have not changed it. We came together as partners. That's how we came together. So whether it's Quebec or what, we have moved on from 1961, but I say English and French, not the language. I mean the two sections. The 2 provinces and the 8 provinces, they are equals. That's what I want to see. I want to give a general aspect which we can work on it. We are equal partners. It's not like Famdongo said on the education committee. On a trop donné pour les anglophones. You don't give things to anglophone. We are equal partners. We share, we discuss, we sit on the table. That's a Cameroon that we want. When they use the word vivre ensemble is about equality. It's me aspiring to be in the highest office in this country. The French people in Cameroon, they have been ruling Cameroon for more than 57 years. I want to see the next president to come from Northwest or Southwest. That's that equality we want. We cannot talk about living together with words. We want action.
Right.
That's what we want.
All right, Maitre, Lisinge, we're going to take some interviews now, and we'll be right back in some few minutes.
I find myself to report myself today, then live a free life back as I used to be. So it made me now to see that the freedom given by the president, I came to see if truly the freedom has been granted into this division by the military around me, by other people I see, so that I can call on my brothers back at the bushes to come and believe in me that so truly I was there and nothing happens to me. So I wish and I believe nothing will happen to me today.
Taking over command, the head of number 1 subdivision, at the time when we still have some of our brothers and sisters still in the bushes, who are reticent to lay down their arms. I think I've come to work with the population, and our priority will be to continue sensitizing these our young brothers and sisters to lay down their arms, to permit us bring life back to normal in the Kumba Central Subdivision, and to enable people to go about their daily economic activities history.
You have to show proof of vigilance and a high sense of anticipation. There is high threat on peace and public order, social cohesion, and the security of people and their property, with different forms of aggression, theft, robberies, assassinations, scams, drug trafficking, and other narcotics. In a particular way, I recommend you to pay special attention on the respect of regulations with regards to implementation of drinking spots, closed educational establishments, and also on the opening and closing hours of these drinking places. You will equally meditate to resolve succession disputes at the head of some traditional chiefdoms and territorial disputes between administrative units and units under the traditional command. The task awaiting you is immense and exhausting.
There was a misunderstanding because there's one young man who died, and the information about his death was not the right information. So it degenerated. So people went attacking the activities of the Fumban community. But it was something which did not last for long, because the forces of law and order had to intervene to bring in order. So we have discussed with the traditional leaders, we have discussed with the motorbike riders, we have discussed with the administrative authorities, and they have all agreed that they will collaborate hand in hand to bring peace.
Those were interviews of the week. Maitre, you have a last word before we go?
I just want to say people should be happy with the special status, and I want to tell most of our people in Cameroon, it's up to us, the people from Northwest and Southwest, to decide on what we want. Special status could be federalism. It could be a state within a state. It's up to us. So we should be progressive. We should be optimistic. We should not be pessimistic, and we should trust about what we have. And I want to tell you, I believe in the policy of small, catch a monkey. That's half a bread is better than none. It doesn't mean we are going to stay there. We'll fight, and we have more powers, and give power back to our people. That's what we are fighting for. Thank you very much.
Maitre Alex Ndive, Lisinge, human and civil rights defender, thanks for coming.
Thank you very much, Baba.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. That's it for today.